Salesman kicked out elderly man out of store. Then they discover his real identity. It was a typical day at the big department store. The doors had been open for a few hours and customers were already browsing the aisles, picking out items to buy. Around 12 employees were working, some stocking shelves, others manning the cash registers. Then an elderly-looking man walked towards the entrance. He had a slight limp and was dressed in a worn coat and hat. His wrinkled face and weathered hands suggested that he had lived a long life, but also that he might be in need of some assistance. Hey there, Viral Videos here. Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell. We post the most beautiful, amazing, and scary videos every single day. Let's proceed with the video. However, before he could even set foot inside the store, the employees abruptly kicked him out without any explanation. They told him that he was not allowed to enter and that he should leave the premises immediately. The elderly man was confused and taken aback. He had not done anything wrong as far as he knew. He had simply wanted to come in and browse the selection of goods, perhaps even make a purchase. But the employees were adamant. They refused to let him in and even went so far as to push him out of the doorway. Little did they know that this would be a decision they would come to regret. After being kicked out of the store, the elderly man disappeared for a few hours. When he returned, he was a changed man. He had transformed into someone with a mysterious aura and a twinkle in his eye that the employees had never seen before. As it turned out, the elderly man was not who he appeared to be. In fact, he was hiding a deep secret that would soon be uncovered by the very same employees who had rejected him. One of the employees, a young woman named Emily, noticed the man walking towards the entrance once again. She recognized him as the same elderly man who had been kicked out earlier in the day. Emily felt a pang of guilt in her chest. She remembered the way that she and her colleagues had treated him earlier, and she couldn't help but feel ashamed. She decided to take matters into her own hands and went to speak to the man. "Excuse me, sir," Emily said politely. "I'm sorry about what happened earlier. Can I help you with anything?" The man looked at her with a slight smile on his face. "It's quite all right, my dear," he replied. "I'm just here to do a bit of shopping." Emily was taken aback. She hadn't expected the man to be so forgiving. She decided to escort him around the store and help him find what he was looking for. As they walked, the man began to reveal a bit more about himself. He told Emily that he was actually a wealthy businessman who had been traveling incognito for the past few months. He had wanted to experience life as an ordinary person, without the trappings of his wealth and fame. Emily was amazed. She had never met anyone like this before. She felt a sense of awe and respect for the man who had lived such an unconventional life. As they continued their shopping trip, other employees began to notice the man and started to whisper amongst themselves. They recognized him from the news and realized that they had made a grave mistake by kicking him out earlier. One of the employees, a young man named Jake, decided to approach the man and apologize for what had happened earlier. "I'm sorry, sir," he said. "We didn't realize who you were. Please forgive us." The man smiled kindly at Jake. "It's quite all right," he replied. "I understand. But I hope that in the future you'll remember to treat everyone with kindness and respect, no matter who they are." Jake felt a sense of humility wash over him. He realized that he had made a mistake by judging the man based on his appearance. The celebrity, whose name was Jack, had been trying to avoid the spotlight for years. He had grown tired of the constant attention and scrutiny that came with being a public figure, and he longed for a simpler life. But even in disguise, Jake had a certain magnetism that drew people towards him. He had a way of speaking and moving that made people feel comfortable and at ease, and despite his fame, he always made an effort to treat everyone with kindness and respect. The salesmen were no exception. As they began to realize who Jack really was, they were filled with a sense of awe and reverence. They couldn't believe that they had kicked him out of the store earlier in the day. One of the salesmen, a young man named Tom, decided to apologize to Jack in person. He found him in one of the aisles, looking at a display of electronics. "Excuse me, sir," Tom said, feeling nervous. "I wanted to apologize for what happened earlier. We had no idea who you were, and we shouldn't have treated you that way." Jack looked at him with a kind smile. "It's okay," he said. "I understand why you did it, but I hope that in the future you'll remember to treat everyone with kindness and respect, no matter who they are." Tom felt a sense of relief wash over him. He had been worried that Jack would be angry or upset, but instead he was forgiving and understanding. Over the course of the next few hours, Jack continued to shop around the store. He picked out a few items, including a new phone and a set of headphones, and as he walked around, he chatted with the salesman and learned more about their lives and interests. By the time he was ready to leave, Jack had made a deep impression on everyone he had met. He had shown them that appearances could be deceiving, and that even the most ordinary-looking person could be someone special. As he walked out of the store, the salesman waved goodbye to him, feeling grateful for the lesson he had taught them. And as they went about their work for the rest of the day, they couldn't help but feel a newfound sense of empathy and understanding for the people around them. From that day forward, the salesman made an effort to treat everyone who came into the store with kindness and respect. They no longer judged people based on their appearance or background, but instead tried to see the humanity in everyone they met. And whenever they thought back on that routine day at the big store, they would remember the elderly man who had walked in and changed their lives forever. After leaving the store, Jack continued to live his life away from the public eye. However, he remained in contact with the salesman who had treated him with kindness and respect, and he often sent them small gifts and notes of appreciation. As for the salesmen, they continued to work at the big store, but their perspective on life had changed. They no longer took things for granted, and they made an effort to appreciate the people around them. Over time, the salesmen became known as some of the friendliest and most helpful employees at the store, and as their reputation grew, they found themselves being promoted to higher positions and receiving recognition for their outstanding customer service. As for Jack, he lived out the rest of his days in peace and happiness, surrounded by his loved ones. And although he never forgot the way he had been treated by the salesman that day, he held no grudges and remained grateful for the lessons they had taught him. In the end, the routine day at the big store had turned into a life-changing experience for everyone involved, and as they looked back on that fateful day, they knew that it had been the start of something truly special. What did you think of this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, like the video and subscribe. See you next time!